Good morning. The SARFASI Act DRAT procedure should be learned. It's not that much of tough procedures. Do not hesitate to enter into these proceedings. Actually, the SARFASI Act is nothing but renovated provisions of 69A Transfer of Property Act, wherein 69 says Transfer of Property Act, the mortgagee may foreclose the mortgage deed, file suit before the court, bring the property for action. But at notified cities, the Transfer of Property Act was further amended, stating that the notified areas, cities, on written agreement in the said mortgage deed, if you invoked 69A stating that you can bring the property for action without intervention of the court proceedings. That is called 69A. Then there are certain restrictions if that is not followed. Normally 69A suit is being filed before civil court challenging the notice and all this. This is the very same procedure has been reintroduced in the SARFASI Act, facilitating particularly the bank and financial institution to bring the property for actions. Before the SARFASI Act procedures facilitate you to file DRT, Debt Recovery Tribunal. There SARFASI application is filed, then you can file appeal against the procedure. So many things are there. Then DRAT is there, and without going to DRT and DRAT, normally during vacation court, the persons reaches court by filing writ. That was sometimes allowed, sometimes not allowed. So many things are there. It's a very good field, not that much of tough field. So that was my persuasion to accept me. Here, you see, they say writ petition is not maintainable. Therefore, DRAT appeal was there when DRT application was dismissed. So they say the High Court was wrong in entertaining the writ petition, number one. Number two, the possessor notice were published. That is under section 38. They say that is sufficient notice. That is that much of you have to see how. If you go through the entire judgment, you can understand how notices were served in two leading newspaper after taking possession. Then sale certificate and delivery of possession. Action purchaser depositing the amount. All therefore, so many things, finding of facts by the High Court was also. Finally, this is most important. This SARFASI Act says two category of debt: secured debt. Another one, unsecured debt. For secured debt means registered mortgage deed and etc. There they say the SARFASI Act is not applicable if the mortgage properties in agriculture land. This is section 31I of the Act. But the Supreme Court says it's not merely you can say that land is agriculture land where production of patta, sitta, adangal. But the Supreme Court says they have to prove before the court that the land is actually used for agriculture purpose. If suppose due to corona or due to drought, other things, the land was not used, you can very well state in your application the agriculture land is still for the use of agriculture. That is subject to later things. So these things you should understand how to deal with the SARFASI Act. You can, if you are trained by reading all these judgment, you can apply for any bank officials, banks or financial institutions like Indus Bank, private banks are there, financial institutions are there like Sriram Finance, etc. You can assist them for filing application, all those things. Unless and until you go through, it's a very simple case, simple thing to understand the SARFASI procedure. That's over. Another thing was, see, a very talented young man born at Rayapuram, fisherman. When I was studying 9th standard, he was studying 11th standard. He contested for People's Leader, A.C. Sankalnada School. He delivered a speech and he was elected as president of K.C. Sankalnada Students Union. Then what happened? Then he went to Nandanam Arts College. He was originally belonging to World Congress. He and Mr. Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose, both are very dearest friends. Both belong to Congress. So thereafter, because their mentor was Ananda, Kumari Anandan. When Kumari Anandan started Kaka Deka, they joined Kaka Deka. Thereafter, both joined ADMK. Then thereafter, Mr. Jagan, M.L. Jagan was ADMK, and though he was 3 years senior to me in school studies, due to his always hesitating mentality, he faced several cases. Therefore, it took long time to get his graduation, then law degree also. So after 10 years, he after my practice enrollment, he enrolled the profession. Initially, for about 7 years, he worked under me. I was his senior counsel to get so many briefs. And thereafter, he was well acquainted with Madam Jayalalitha. He was one of the forerunner to escort her. Therefore, when AIDMK became power, he was appointed as a district Madras City Public Prosecutor. He best served for about 6 years. Unfortunately, he was very active sportsman. He is 3 years, 4 years elder than me, but I can't compete with him in running race, high jump, because we are same age group, slab. He very active. So surprisingly, on Friday, he was no more. So yesterday he was cremated. That is your information. He is active member of GT Bar Association. He was also sometimes hold the post of ad hoc committee member of GT Bar Association. Good personality. That's all. Best wishes.